Warning: terrorist leaders have stated that their intention is to kill 50,000 to 60,000 Americans in nationwide attacks on U.S. soil. This video reveals of what to expect when the terrorists begin their attacks and how to survive it. This is not something that you hear spoke about much in the mainstream or lamestream media, but during the Afghanistan war, when our U.S. soldiers were raiding those caves that the Al-Qaeda and Taliban and stuff were hiding in, they were actually finding blueprints to schools that were here in the United States. And these, and from my understanding, these weren't just big, huge high schools in New York City either. These were just everyday schools across the United States. Diversionary attacks, secondary attacks, invisible bombs, groups of men armed with rifles shooting up highly populated areas. That's what I believe is coming sometime in our near future. So the goal of today's video is to serve as a warning to you of what terrorist experts are saying that we can expect in our near future and what we can do to survive those nationwide attacks. But first, let's make a tea from a common plant that grows in your backyard that will help you survive in a grid down situation. It's got a little bit of a grassy flavor and citrus flavor. But that drink that we made from the common wood sorrel is packed with vitamin C. But first, for new viewers, welcome to my channel, also my bug out location, and this channel is all about prepping and self-defense. So if you like receiving the kind of information that the lamestream media typically doesn't talk about, then please consider subscribing to this channel and also smacking that thumbs up button. So here is what the terrorist experts are saying is coming to our streets, to your backyard sometime in the near future on an unknown date or dates. The first thing to know is that there is reportedly over 1,000 confirmed terrorists already on U.S. soil just waiting to be given the command to start killing as many U.S. citizens as they possibly can. And that is just the confirmed ones. How many others snuck across our border underneath the former administration? Now, really quick, I actually agree with J.J. Johnson from Reality Survival on this point, which is I think that a lot of terrorists get sent over here to the United States waiting to be given the command to start killing people or to do some kind of attack. And then when they actually come over here and they're laying low until they're given that command and they actually start experiencing life here in the United States, they say, you know, hey, I kind of like it here. This beats the heck out of my old country. I'm not going to die in a suicide terrorist attack. I want to keep living here. But the unfortunate thing is that it won't take that many terrorists to remain fervent to their cause to cause widespread panic and death across the United States once that command is given for them to start doing those attacks across our nation all at once, all at the same time. Now, the next thing to know is that these terrorist experts are saying that one of the things that these terrorists will do when they are given their command to start their nationwide attacks, but one of the things that these terrorists will do, these terrorist cells will do, is that they will use diversionary tactics. And if you're not familiar with diversionary tactics, that is where terrorists or whomever, but in this case terrorists, would set off a large car bomb in one part of the city, and then when all the police and firefighters and medics and first responders all go rushing to where that big large car bomb was set off, then you can have groups of men shouting Allah Akbar, all armed with rifles, and start shooting up in a highly populated area in a different part of the city while all the first responders are busy over here, which would allow them to get even a higher body count over there. So the first thing that we can do to protect ourselves from diversionary tactics is number one, stay away from highly populated areas. Terrorists want as high of a body count that they can possibly get. So they're not going to set off a car bomb next to a cornfield. They're going to set a car bomb off in a downtown area or shopping center, some places where there's going to be a lot of people at. And then if you hear about a car bomb going off in a different part of the city that you're at, don't think that you are safe where you are at, because that could be a diversionary attack, and then their next attack could happen where you are at. So what we want to do in this case here, and again, number one, stay away from highly populated areas, and number two, when you hear about a large car bomb going off or some other large mass casualty event, then get home or to another safe place and avoid highly populated areas while you go to that safe place. Now, along with diversionary tactics, then the next thing that these terrorist experts are saying that these terrorists will utilize will be secondary bombs or secondary attacks. And then if you're not completely familiar with what a secondary attack is, that is where once that big first car bomb has went off and then all the police and fire and paramedics have rushed to the scene, then a few minutes later in that same general area, then a second big car bomb will go off to kill all the first responders. And now the whole idea behind that is not only is that to cause fear and panic and just kill more people, but then when they take out more first responders, police and fire and paramedics and stuff like that, then when they do other attacks, then there's going to be less police officers and firefighters and other people like that to respond to those other diversionary or secondary attack scenes. So again, if you hear about a car bomb going off, number one, just assume it's a diversionary attack, that there's might be another attack on another side of the city that could happen in a few minutes later. Also, just assume that there could be a secondary bomb that could go off. So get yourself home, stay away from populated areas on your way home, but get yourself safe. Now, it is my understanding that typically on these secondary bombings, typically the amount of time between the first big bomb going off and the second big bomb going off is typically anywhere between 5 and 15 minutes, just in most cases. So if you happen to be nearby where one of these first bombs go off, I mean, most of us want to help other people. So if I were nearby where a bomb went off, I would probably want to go in and try to help as many people as I could. So I would just keep in mind, hey, I probably got up to 5 minutes to be of help, or whatever help I can be, before I just need to get the heck out of there before that secondary bombing or secondary attack occurs. And it is time for me to pay the bill, so I am going to shamelessly plug the book that I wrote. This book teaches you how you can make your own prepper medicine, and it is over 400 pages. And here is how the book works. First, you go to the table of contents and you search the ailment that you want to make your own medicine for. And then you see what page that ailment is on. And then you will simply flip over to that page to get step-by-step directions on how to make that prepper medicine that you need to survive a grid down event. And I will put a link to that physical book that I wrote down below, and if that's something that you're interested in, buy it. If it's something that you're not interested in, then just ignore it. Now, besides diversionary tactics and secondary bombings, I believe that we will also see, and the terrorist experts are also saying this too, but I believe that we will also see groups of men armed with rifles shooting up, highly populated areas, killing as many people as they can. Plus, terrorists have been openly discussing wanting to use biological weapons. And again, this is all on US soil, but using biological weapons, also drones in their attacks, and also using what they call invisible bombs, because the explosives are small enough, but still powerful enough, but small enough that they can actually be sewn into the jacket. So the days of the big bulky jackets might be gone and over with. And then this is the part that actually sickens me the most and actually worries me the most. Besides targeting highly populated areas like downtown areas and shopping centers, I also believe that they're going to attack and target our schools and our young children. This is not something that you hear spoke about much in the mainstream or lamestream media, But during the Afghanistan war, when our US soldiers were raiding those caves that the Al-Qaeda and Taliban and stuff were hiding in, they were actually finding blueprints to schools that were here in the United States. And these, and from my understanding, these weren't just big, huge high schools in New York City either. These were just everyday schools across the United States. So folks, one of the ways to survive all this is, number one, stay away from highly populated areas. And number two, stay away from areas that's going to be soft targets like gun-free zones. And then the shooting up of our schools part, man, that's a tough one, because how do you keep your child home from school just because there might be a huge nationwide terrorist attack sometime in the future, and when we don't know when that date could be? Could it be tomorrow, next week, next month, next year, 5 years from now? How do we do that without doing something like homeschooling or something like that when you both work full-time jobs? But I do believe there are multiple reasons of why the terrorists want to do these nationwide attacks, where there's multiple attacks across our country all on the same day or close to the same time period. So number one, they want revenge. Number two, I also think they want to crash our economy, and they want it to cause widespread panic across this country. What they want is for everybody to leave work, grab their kids, and go home and stay hunkered down for weeks on end or whatever, because it's hard for you to go to work and keep the economy going if you got your kids at home, because you're afraid that your kids are going to get killed at school. Now, can we get through a situation like that where everybody's at home with their kids? Yeah, we can get through it. That happened when COVID first hit. But when COVID happened, they was digitally creating that money, those stimulus checks that they gave out to people to keep the economy going. And eventually, when you do that enough times, I believe that it's going to cause inflation to skyrocket and start collapsing our economy. And by the way, if you were watching this video on YouTube, you should come over to rumble.com to watch your favorite videos. Rumble does not have the woke agenda that YouTube does, so to find my channel on Rumble, just type in ethical preparedness in the search bar. So my belief is, sometime in the future, could be tomorrow, could be next week, a year from now, 2 years, 5 years from now, who knows? But my belief is that we are going to experience multiple attacks across the United States, all on one day or close to the same time period, where thousands and thousands of people are going to be killed. And these attacks are going to cause mass panic across the country, and it's going to upend our way of life. I've had this gut feeling for years now that this is what is in store for us. An example would be about 7 years ago, I did a little mini series called The Day That SHTF Happened, or something like that, but the storyline in that is exactly what these terrorist experts are saying is in store for us in the very near future, and what these terrorists are actively planning right now. And if you want to listen with your own ears of what these terrorist experts are saying, everything that's in this video, then look up Sarah Adams, CIA Targeter, or Jane Doe and the Sean Ryan Show. So what is your plan if you are out doing your shopping and a large car bomb goes off in a different part of the city? What will you immediately do as soon as you hear about a car bomb going off in your city? Comment down below with what you would do. And in a grid down situation where you just can't run to the doctor's office or to the pharmacy, a simple scratch can actually cost you your life. Or you might enter that grid down situation with type 2 diabetes or high blood pressure or some other kind of chronic ailment like that. So to see a whole bunch of different videos that teaches you step by step how you can make your own prepper medicines, then click on the video that should be appearing on the screen just about now to learn what most other preppers don't know. Anyways, folks, this is enough internet for me today. I do need to get to work, but folks, if you made it this far, hey, thank you very much for watching, and I pray that you have a good night.